네, 여러분 반갑습니다.
Hello everyone.
서울 스마트 모빌리티
This is 2021 Seoul Smart Mobility Expo. Welcome. This is the third thematic session. We will talk about CITS, autonomous vehicle, and the future-oriented road that communicate with autonomous driving vehicles. So far, when it comes to mobility, we consider that as smart, and we try very recently. I actually wrote a book of the freedom of mobility. Thanks to the green revolution, the keyword of if it's fair is coming into the scenery of the mobility as well. So we have to consider the fairness as well, and that should be implemented into the how we can build road based on the futuristic IT system. And Seoul City is now providing the CITS services. And from the perspective, I believe this session is very meaningful and very informative. And I think you may get a lot of lessons from this session. And a lot of business models are hidden behind the CITS, so I hope you find many chances. We have 3 speakers during this thematic session, and each speaker will be given 12 minutes to make a presentation. I will ask you to make it as short as possible to save more time to open the floor for the Q&A. The first speaker is representing the central government. And actually, he has been working in the Ministry of Infrastructure and Transport, and now he's working as the Public Support Center leader. And Mr. Ju Lee will talk about the CITS status of Korea. Please welcome him with a big hand. 12 minutes is given to you.
네, 안녕하십니까.
Good afternoon. I am Lee Ju-il, Executive Director of the Government Business Support Center from ITS Korea. Today, I want to talk about the future of the CITS, or Cooperative Intelligence Transport System. We have started in 2018 the demonstration projects conducted by 4 local governments, Seoul, Jeju, Ulsan City included. Seoul and Jeju cities have established its project last year, and they are providing the service. Ulsan and Gwangju City will complete their project by the end of this year and will provide their service in an earnest manner from next year. The following speaker will present about the Seoul city's status, and I will focus on the Jeju city's CITS project. As you know well, CITS is different from ITS. ITS is providing the information of the roads one way, usually the traffic congestion information. But now we are seeing the digitalization and the new technologies are introduced, so the terminals attached to vehicles send the information of the roads to the vehicles and the center. So safety is the key word of the CITS system. When you have this CITS system, and then you will advance the introduction of a smart mobility system. So this is the architecture of the CITS. In Korea, in 2013, the government introduced a new government-level CITS plan, and to establish the infrastructure For CITS, they started the research and development, and from 2018, the 4 local governments started their projects. To provide the CITS, they have 15 transportation safety services have been provided, and also the certification and other related services were provided. From 2018, the CITS was introduced to the actual road networks. Since the next speaker will talk about the Seoul City's CITS, my presentation will mainly deal with the Jeju Island. Jeju has 3-year plan of CITS program. The CITS service demonstration project has been introduced by the Jeju government. We selected Jeju local government for the CITS project because the communication service requires the distribution of terminal that will be attached to the vehicles. Jeju is an island, so if we distribute the terminals to the cars or other types of vehicles, these vehicles are only operated inside the island because it's island. So we started with the rental cars for the implementation of CITS project. Every year, 14 million tourists travel on the Jeju Island, and every day 1.4 traffic accidents take place on Jeju Island, usually caused by rental cars. So we attached the terminals to the rental cars, and we started to provide the CITS information to the drivers. Out of 15 services, except the Smart Highway, we have 14 demonstration services that are specified to Jeju Island. The priority signal service and tourism and weather information service, and also the accident risk analysis system are being provided. And also, the auto driving test bed has been established on Jeju Island. So in a certain section of the road, as you can see here, from the Jungmun Tourist Complex to the airport, there is a road, and the emergency situations and weather information are being provided through this CITS network. So from the airport to the middle point, there is ionic cars are being used, which are the self-driving cars. So we use these cars for the CITS service. When you go to the airport of Jeju Island, you can use the CITS system car. So by using this car to the Jungmun Tourism Complex, we are running the CITS project along this road. So the self-driving car receives the information about weather. So we are monitoring how the cars are moving in relation to the weather information. As you can see here, Jeju is an island, so it has its own characteristics. When you see the blue part, this photo shows the vehicles are running around
inside this car. We attached the terminals to about 3,000 cars, and the data is being received by the center. The vehicle-to-vehicle information sharing is also shared by the center. From the Seogwipo to the international airport, the vehicles along the roads are sharing their information. So the emergent stop or other emergent situations are being recorded. And for example, if a driver put a brake on the pedal, then that kind of information is received by the center. So in the downtown area on Jeju Island, you see the vehicles are traveling around. So we monitor these vehicles and we collect the data from these cars and we make a statistical analysis. So in which part the drivers turn on the emergency signals or put a brake. So that kind of information is used to designate the danger-prone area. So we are studying the road-specific information real-time and updated on our system. And we also conducted the survey of the CITS service users. This is basically the location-based services, and they say that they are satisfied with the location-based services, and also we are making analysis of the accidents on the road. After the terminal attached to the vehicles, we are analyzing the accident occurrence ratio by comparing the vehicles attached with the terminals and the vehicles without the terminals. And there are the trucks that we attach the terminals are also monitored by us. So we have these routes that operate that system. So by using the CITS, the self-driving test bed is being operated. As you can see here, the trucks and buses are the targets that we conduct our project for their enhanced safety. And this is focusing on the safety of trucks, the cargo trucks, and also the drivers who are vulnerable. For example, the children or older people should be protected. So we are monitoring the road sections to protect these people. We are extracting the data from the CIS system. With the population aging, we think the collection of information related to the road accidents involving the senior citizen or children. So school zone or the other specific zones for the senior people are being studied, and we are planning to provide that service from next year. Lastly, we have almost completed the preparation to provide this service. In order to further develop CITS, we think there is a limitation of the government only to provide the terminals to vehicles. So if the vehicles are attached with terminals and the communication network is established, then we can provide the service. And we are cooperating with the companies such as Kakao and others so that they can provide new CITS-related services to users. And also we are thinking about cooperating with self-driving car service providers.
이렇게 해서 저희가 말씀드리고
So that is all
CITS에 대한 부분들을
for my
간략하게
presentation.
말씀을 드렸습니다.
So I have briefly explained about the CITS project. Thank you very
네,
much.
발표 감사합니다. 시간 잘 지켜주시고요.
Thank you very much, and in particular, thank you for being succinct. And before introducing the second speaker, he made a good point. To put the CITS to each different vehicle, then you have to be a supplier and a collector. Then ultimately,
나중에 여러분 차 다 달면
if we have a CITS in every vehicle, then you don't need to have some high-pass terminal, and you do not have to have some detection camera on the road. If you run with that CITS for a month, then they analyze all your driving activities. So based on that, they just give you all the customized warnings. You have to pay how much for the toll, and you have to slow down, things like that. So we will have some time to talk about that, but ultimately this is the direction where we want to go. And then let me just introduce the second speaker. And the SK Telecom, Mr. Mooney Rung from the SK Telecom will make a presentation about his experience with the Seoul City's CITS demonstration project. You are interested in Seoul City's project, so I think his presentation will help you understand how much progress the Seoul City has made. And you are also can spend 12 minutes, and we can have another Q&A sessions after 3 presentations. Hello, everyone. I am Mooney Rung from SK Telecom. I will make a presentation about some Seoul City's CITS demonstration project. Let me just start with the background. We are experiencing fourth industrial revolution and the changes of transportation paradigm. The transportation has changed from the provider-oriented to the user-centered. To reflect such changes, the Seoul City is carrying out the CITS projects. Seoul City have found some specific issues. Out of many, the one biggest issue is that it takes up a large fatality. Our largest fatalities are coming from the road accident. And the bus-only lane is having more than double of a fatality rate. So the Seoul City understands the seriousness of the issue, so they decide to carry out the CITS project. This is the project outline. Seoul City, the autonomous driving innovation. Seoul City want to have autonomous driving innovation. And also Seoul want to be the demonstration city to have 5G transportation safety based on V2X. And the project cost is about $22 million Korean won. So we have largely 2 systems. First is the vehicle system. The vehicle gives some warnings of danger to the drivers. So for that, we have V2X terminals. 1,700 V2X terminals have been attached, and some AFCL terminals. The card readers on the bus will additionally have some V2X terminals. And the basic function of ADAS is to detect some possible collision between the cars that has been added to, and HD map has been advanced as well. And also ADAS can detect some changes on the photo, lava cone, and HD map. And it also detects drowsy driving and send some alarms when they detect the drowsy driving. So from the site we collect the data, and the information can be communicated between the vehicles. And every crossroads and the transportation hub exchange informations, and it can be linked to the signaling
저희 사업의 주요 특징에
This is
대해서
the characteristics of this demonstration project. The first is that
AFC와 BMS 기능에 이제 CIT
we provide comprehensive terminal that includes AFC and BMS functions. The size
CITS가 모듈화가 되어 있고요. 특히 많은
this terminal includes AFC and BMS devices in it, and it is very securely processing all that heavy informations. And second character is that
포토를 감지한다든지
to detect the photo, lava cone, and to positioning and changes, detect some changes on the HD map, we developed the ADAS and to apply it to the terminal. The third characteristic is that unlike existing demonstration project, we are using our own communications technologies to have communication between vehicles and between vehicle to platform. We are not only using external technology, but also CV2X and 5G. So one single communication terminal can have wave, CV2X, and 5G. So VTX communications are included into one single terminal. And with this terminal, anytime, anywhere, wave, CV2X, and 5G can be working to communicate. And the type of communications is that the 5G, because the vehicles are moving almost all the time, so 5G is on all the time to collect the data, to collect and send the data anytime. And Wave and CV2X have three different modes: Wave only mode and CV2X mode, and both of the Wave and CV2X mode. To make everything working well on one single board, we have interference test between Wave and CV2X. The result says that once the antenna has a 20 centimeter of clearance, it's working very well. And the fourth is in Sangam area, we installed the CV2X RSU for multiple tests. Many vehicles for the autonomous driving test, they can communicate with 5G as well as CV2X. So the communications can be tested against all possibilities. And CV2X RSU is using the third channels of 176. And the fifth character is that we are providing the largest number of services of 34. The existing demonstration project have largely exclusively serviced for mass transportation or individual vehicles, but we are covering both. Please look at the screen. There are 1,600 buses and 100 taxis. In case of a bus, drivers can understand the shape of the crossroad and their resting time. And when they make a right turn, they can secure the wider view thanks to these technologies. And all these type of informations are displayed in the screen for the driver. On the bottom, it shows some warning signs so that important warnings are shown on the main screen as well. And for the taxi, that their app-based reservation is interlinked to this terminal display. So all the information is well coordinated to display. Instead of showing icons only, we created a small screen on the right side to show how the taxi is driving on the road. The biggest strength of this project is that we are using Kafka system to process ultra-low latency. And we just verify the actual time to process the information from the collecting the data to display. It takes 62 milliseconds for the SPAT. And for the RSA, from the collecting to the display, it takes 60 milliseconds. And all these kind of informations will be provided onto the private navigational systems. And the cases of data we are collecting is 850 million cases. It's really huge. And the number of data provided by the center is 850 million. And the BSM message, which have been delivered through the V2X, if included this information, it will be about 3 billion data set. It's really huge. To process all that huge data, I said that every information are processed within a minute. That means a lot of laborers have been used to process such information. And we have actively supported autonomous vehicle. As I mentioned earlier, VTX terminal have been supplied to 11 agencies. So anytime here in Sangam, you can free to test your autonomous technologies. At the same time, autonomous technology developer and provider should develop their services according to the international standards. But they having difficulties to analyze some messages coming from their terminal. So we develop one software to make that analysis easier. And that software are distributed to the companies in related industry. And they can use the software to analyze it better. This is the future direction. Well, this is my personal opinion, so please bear that in mind. So far, waves was the main medium to have V2X or V2X. But as we are having the wave, we also make some development in V2X communications. Fortunately, Ministry of Land and Transportation announced a plan to study 5G NR to V2X. Throughout that research, actually many of the demonstration projects have been based on wave. So if we cover 5G NR V2X, then these three types of communications will exist together. Because everything has different strengths and weaknesses, so they can strengthen the strengths a little further. And as Mr. Lee Ju-il mentioned earlier, distribution of a terminal is really difficult. Only 10,000 units have been distributed. It is too small given the total number of vehicles. To tackle this issue, I think we have to cooperate with the private companies, and we need to link these services to the private company provided this navigation services. That is the best way to quickly spread and distribute the terminal units. That means we have to open our platform and technologies. And I think that's the best way. Maybe next year or by 2023 at the latest, the Seoul city will agree to provide the data and some other required data. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for making the time limit. As a moderator, that's an important task to keep the time schedule. Another thing that I want to make is that CITS is a good thing. It can be applied to anything. But there is a very important thing that we need to think about. For example, the communications technology and the terminals like the high-pass, you can attach. I wish you could attach it, but it cannot be realized at this moment. So we will have a Q&A session later on, and naturally we'll move to the third topic,
팀원이
regarding this integrated CITS platform, Mr. Ko Seok-gyun will make a presentation. I'd like to entertain questions from the floor. After the presentation, you can ask a question, or even after the session, you can approach me to ask a question. Mr. Ko, please.
네, 안녕하십니까.
Good afternoon.
티머니 고객부서입니다.
My name is Ko Seok-gyun from Team Money.
전 발표에서 CITS에 대한 내용과
Previously,
그리고
the
서울
presenters said about the CITS and the pilot project of Seoul City and the basic concept of the project. So, my presentation will focus on the architecture and the application of the vehicles of the CITS integrated terminal. The Seoul City attached 1,600 units to vehicles and 80 units to taxis. So first, I want to talk about the CITS project of Seoul City, and then, if time allows, I want to talk about how the CITS is applied to the actual situation by showing a video. First, why do we need all-in-one platform for CITS?
앞서에서 말씀드린 것처럼
As was explained before,
계속 새로운 기술이
VTS
발전하게
technology is being developed and new types of terminals are being introduced.
단말기들이 장착될 때마다 CITS
Every time this terminal is attached to a vehicle, the CITS logics should be adjusted to accommodate this new attachment. And if another new type of terminal is attached to a vehicle, again, the CITS should be adjusted to accommodate the new service. So the CITS should be able to accommodate all these changing services by attaching new types of terminals.
대중교통 내부의 설치 환경에
Internally, the different modes of transportation are being using different types of terminals. They are taking greater space inside a particular vehicle.
표준 프로토콜을 적용을 하고 그리고
We need to apply standardized protocol, and we need to integrate them all physically in one platform. So the standardization of protocol and the hardware modularization
통합성을 모두
were
확보할 수 있게 되었다고 보시면 되겠습니다. 자세한 내용은 뒷부분에서
applied to increase applicability
이 부분이 앞서
and
말씀드린 그 기존
flexibility.
대중교통의 내부 환경을 잠깐 보여드리겠습니다.
This is the internal
버스의 내부 환경은
space
이렇게 많은
of
부분이
a
설치되어 있어서요.
vehicle.
신규로 설치할 수 있는
And the left one is a bus. So you see the different terminals are attached to it. So it is very crowded inside.
각각의 방식으로 연결을
And
해서
each terminal
버스
connects to the bus
각각의 GPS
control
안테나를
system.
갖다 붙여놓고 설치를
So
하고
each GPS functions
그 GPS
is
안테나는
integrated
가운데
in
남기뿐만
each
아니라
different terminals.
우리가 서로 간섭하는
And in this case, the
택시 내부
existing terminals inside the bus are interfering when they communicate with the satellite. So in case of a taxi,
N미터기 관련 솔루션들이 계속 출시됨에 따라서
a new N-meter systems are introduced. So the 2 or 3 GPS, whether it is in the cell phone or the embedded GPS, should be adjusted. So that is why we decided to develop a all-in-one CITS platform.
버스 단말 기준으로 2개의 서브 보드와 3개의
We have sub boards and 3 CPU boards. In case of bus, the CPU have PP and memory and the storage space so that they can function well. The 2 sub modules have GPS and other functions, and these sub modes
타 장비에
is connected
연결할 수 있도록 설계를
to
했습니다.
other terminals so that they can communicate and transfer data with each other. And we attached a hub so each device, without accessing the terminal, can communicate with each other. As you can see here, the V2X communication terminal
이식을 했습니다. 그래서
can
통신의
recognize the AFC, BMS, and CITS.
통신의
So the VTC communication
해석하고 만들어서 전송을
can
하고
be
있습니다.
interpreted and transferred
확장성도
by using our technology so that we were able to secure scalability in terms of communication. This is the architecture of all-in-one platform.
CITS 시스템은 차량 시스템,
CITS system has the signal control system, and CITS is closely communicating with each other.
ADAS와 VTX
And
통신
ADAS and V2X terminal
와 연계가 되어 있습니다.
are linked to each other. The all-in-one platform has the main board and display. And for the cars, these are combined into one board.
메인 단말기와 표출 장치가
Like I said, the main board and display device
하나 말씀을 드리면요.
are
서울
installed in the bus. The Seoul City's pilot project attached the terminals
해당 마을 버스에는
in
된 상태로 설치가 되어 있고요.
the village bus,
BMS 기능만 수행.
and it performs ADS and BMS functions. In the future, when we were able to scale up this service, we will introduce more functions to it. In the right side, the display device is based on Android, and the CITS is based on Linux system. This is the picture of terminal.
디자인을 적용했습니다.
It is black.
이거는 표출 장치고요.
And this is display device.
10인치 컷 70.
It is the width is 10.1 inch,
자주 쓰거나
and on the right side,
상황에서 사용할 수 있는
the frequently used functions and the hotkeys are on display.
그리고 이렇게 후면부에 많은 연계
And
포트를
in the rear end, there are
적용을 했습니다.
uh,
화면입니다. 화면
the
앞에서도
different
말씀드렸던
functions
것처럼
available.
있습니다.
I'm going to skip this part of explaining display.
서비스 표출부와 오른쪽 AFC BMS 표출부가 있고요.
The right side is the display of the CITS, and the left side is the GPS information. In the right side, you see the car registration number of my vehicle and the car in front of my vehicle.
설치 위치는
And it shows the signal colors and time and intersection information.
상단 벽면에 부착이 되어 있고요.
The CITS platform is attached in the front side
그리고 조작할 수 있도록
to the right side of the driver,
실제
so that the driver can control the platform. This is the actual CITS. So when you see this device, when you board on a bus, you are safe. These are the two sides of the CITS terminal, and this CITS is based on Linux, and display works on Android. This is the actual CITS platform for cars. It has RF reader and IC reader inside. The width is 8 inch. It is touch screen.
화면입니다.
This is the display of CITS car platform. The road information is on the display. On the right side, the road safety-related information will be displayed.
설치는 대시보드 상단 혹은 전면에
It is installed in the upper part of a dashboard in order not to
설치 위치를 조금씩 조정하고 있습니다.
disrupt the driver's attention, we put this on slightly in the right side of the driver.
고도화를 계속 진행해 나갈 예정입니다.
We are planning to
정밀하고
enhance the safety and precision level of the CITS information and the system.
이렇게 해나갈 예정입니다.
And we are increasing the capability of integrating different terminals.
연계선들을 다 정리를 해
And
나가고 싶은
we plan to accommodate the various types of connections, including different antennas.
저희는 기본적으로 J2735 처리부가 없습니다.
We don't have JA2S,
살펴보고 있는
and we are reviewing
대중교통형 자율주행 차량의
self-driving mass transportation modes.
단말기의 일부를 이식해서
So we
J235 처리
are
대행을
to
저희가 할 수 있는지 검토하고 있습니다.
attach our terminal to the self-driving mass transportation mode to see whether we can materialize JE735.
별도의 센터에서 BMS를 만들어서 전송을 해서
And we have another center that sends us BMS information. So even in an area where we cannot predict the
검토를 하고 있습니다.
appearance of electric scooters, can
기본적으로 GPS는 터널이나
enable the driver to be ready for possible
데이터를 아예
contingency situation caused by the scooter drivers
그래서 저희
and electric bike drivers.
단말기에는 DR 기능이
And
장착된
our
GPS가 부착되어 있고요. 그리고 자체
CITS platform have VI function with a particular sensor, and we developed a logic to calibrate to accommodate the BMI related information.
최종적으로는 적용을 할 예정입니다. 자, 여기까지 마쳤고요. 동영상을 지금 틀어도 될까요?
Can I show you a video clip now?
네. 그럼 미래용 도로를 주행하는 그 차량 모습을 좀 보시겠습니다.
I want to show you a vehicle that was developed for future mobility service. Let's watch. Each vehicle can communicate closely with each other. This particular vehicle
서로 주고받으면서 연산을 하고
transfers the information about the speed and other things with the vehicles attached with the CITS platform, and the detection platform or signals sending stations are communicating with these vehicles. For example, when a car stops at a bus stop, then the vehicles are getting alert in the CITS platform. Also, the bus information system is shared to drivers of the vehicles nearby the bus. Also, the detector detects jaywalkers and sends the information to the drivers so that the jaywalkers can be protected. And also, these bus stops at a bus stop, and this type of traveling information is shared through the bus stops. This is the example of the bus that we have attached the CITS terminal. The bus station and detection information, CITS logic, AFC, and VMS service, all these are integrated into one. So this is the world's first all-in-one CITS platform. The vehicles share wave communications and CV2X communications, and also the 5G communications are available with our terminal. The collision avoidance service and other customized services can be materialized on our platform. And also, our system is scalable.
구성이 가능합니다.
And it is a modular system, so you can select the module that you want to install.
일회용 도로
It's a simplified system
올인원 플랫폼이 함께하고
on a very complicated road system. That's all. Thank you very much.
네, 고맙습니다.
Thank you.
께서 정확히 시간 다 맞춰주셔서
So all presenters kept their time.
또 질문 좀 받을 거고요. 제가 토론을
I'm going to open the floor. I will be moderating the discussion.
한국정보원에서 연구단장으로 있는데
I am the director of the Korea Transport Institute.
워크로 17
ISOT
서비스에 제가 그
is
컨비너를 맡고 있습니다.
the
벌써 한 15년
where I work as a convener for the past 15 years. So I have knowledge in the standardization trend. So we have three presenters:
지원 사업에서 어떻게
the local governments and central governments policy regarding CITS project, in particular Seoul City, its mass transportation projects, and the terminal distribution projects for the CITS initiative. I will ask a question to the presenters. This is the core question. How can we
거기에 단말기 보급은 어떻게 연결합니까?
develop the communication technology, and how can we apply that technology to terminals? We have been working on this for 5 years in this area. We were good at introducing high-pass system. On the road, we have about 22 million vehicles are moving around, and many of them have high-pass system attached in it. And the second is BITS. So you have your information within the bus terminal system. And third one is the mobile navigation GPS system.
자, 그렇다면 이제
These are what we have done. Then we are talking about next generation system. The communication methods is an issue now, and what kind of terminal and how can we
각각 듣고
apply these to the actual situation. So we will listen to each presenter's opinion. Mr. Lee, please. You have 2 minutes. The terminal and communication methods, these two are the main issues that drag us in CITS project. As we conduct the CITS project on Jeju Island, when we have new rental car, we deinstall the terminal and then attach it to a new rental car. This is how we worked. The information of the terminal stored can be used, and the terminal should be embedded in the vehicle, and that's one way, I think. I think a simplified terminal can be an option, and we think we need to develop that kind of simplified terminal. And as for the communication methods, with the change of technology, the communication technology is also changing, whether it be 5G or 4G. The already commercialized wave or LTE are being used now, so we can use these to commercialize CITS. When 5G was certified and we can use this, then naturally we can apply this to the CITS for commercialization.
And Mr. Moon, you may have a different opinion. That's right, I disagree with him partially. First of all, regarding the terminal units, terminal should go hand in hand with the communications. What I mean is that the danger information should be received and sent to the terminal, and if it is delivered in 0.1 seconds to the user, then it can be prevented according to some literature released by a foreign research center. If that may happen, then the driver can get all the information on their navigations. Of course, autonomous vehicle, 0.1 second is not enough. For the autonomous vehicles, as you mentioned, the direct communications via wave or symmetrics or 5G is required to have communication between vehicles to vehicle and vehicle to road.
그 통신 방식에 대해서는
And the way of communications
웨이브가 주 기술로 이제
was largely dominated by wave up until today. But that can be also,
잠깐 이제
well, actually I make a very brief introduction of the future direction, but when it comes to the data communications, there is multiple ways to make a quick communications. Depending on which is the optimal way, we can change our the communications mode. That's it for now. So
Mr. Ko,
저도
Please.
문 부장님이랑 같은 생각인데요.
I agree with Mr. Moon.
필두에서
With our terminal, regardless of communication methods,
방안과 로직을 분리를 하는 게
we need to separate the logic and the technology to provide the service. Within 1.1 second, if
충분히
the information can be shared by using the existing terminals.
하는 게
So they talked about 5G, and many prefer 5G, right? But as of today, from the infrastructure operator, they don't accept 5G well.
가서 여러분들 손에서 다 그.
So the other thing is that there are two issues.
자, 과연 그러면 5G를 했을 때 그 5G
If we decide to go with the 5G, the basic infrastructure should be updated to the 28 giga.
비용
Then we have to pay a lot of the money to come up with that. Then who gonna be pay for that? The three major communication provider should be responsible for that cost. Then who gonna own the data? And that's largely about who will make the investment into the infrastructure. And the operator of highways is resistant to that idea. And the second issue is that after we lay down the infrastructure and they try to recover the investment on that infrastructure, the government is not the person and the entity to receive the return. If it goes to the 5G, it is a private sector. So if we update the infrastructure according to the 5G, the citizens should pay for that. Of course, we have to go in this direction, but there are many different decisions we have to make, and all different stakeholders are engaged in this one single scene.
산업부 쪽에서는 또
So also Ministry of Economics and Industry and Ministries of the Transportation are engaged in. All different stakeholders are engaged in, but still I agree this is the direction that we have to go. So we may take some gradual stages. We can just lay down 5G first and then decide who's going to pay for that investment and who's going to recover that investment. Anyhow, we do not have any complete solution yet, and we are not the only country not to have the solution. The same things happen in the United States and Europe as well. So I'd like to open the floor for the question. Please make a very brief questions, then we're going to give you detailed answers. If you have a question, please raise your hand.
질문이 굉장히 클리어했나 보죠, 그죠?
I think we have delivered everything very clearly because no one raised their hands. If you have any suggestion or comment, feel free to raise your hand.
네, 그러면 이제 제 시간이 좀 남았기 때문에
Because we have a little time to cover, I'd like to give microphone to Mr. Moon.
진행되고 있는 사항을
Let me just give you one idea what technically progress we make. WAVE and Cibotex have applied to Seoul demonstration project. Of course, 5G has embedded into. So 3 chips have been embedded in this project. For the VTX,
와 이제 그 5G
the commercial 5G and commercial V2X are the basic for the development, and 2023 is the goal, according to our plan, that will be completely developed by around 2023. Then,
현재로서는 사실
as of today, V2I and V2V are the most potential candidate for the communications. So my suggestion is that
원칩으로 나오게 되고 그리고
if everything comes in one chip, which is a little reasonably priced, then the V2X and V2I should be embedded into the terminal unit, that we can maintain the existing infrastructure while using the Weibo and some other the communications mode. That's my suggestion.
기본적으로 그런 생각에 동의를 하고 있고 저도
I deeply agree with you, and that's what I'm saying. And I'm very glad to hear from a person from the SK Telecom. We can use the existing infrastructure, and with the new communication technology introduced,
갈아타면서 갈 수 있기 때문에
so we can shift to the new one
스텝 바이 스텝으로 하나씩 다
step by step.
비즈니스 모델로 가야 된다는
I think we should consider this step-by-step approach to realize the new technology. So we are open to anything. We can accommodate new technology in a hybrid type.
이제 이렇게 되면 여러분들은 그 소위 하이패스를 다실 때
When you attach high-pass system to your vehicle, what do you think would be the benefit of it?
이거 하나가 여러분
When you decided to use a high-pass, it may be because of the convenience that you don't need to stop at the toll.
단속을 하고 있어야 되나?
And do I have to
단순한데 이게
stop at the toll?
기가 막힌 킬러 이 키가
But with a high-pass,
이거 하이패스 달자.
you don't need to stop at the toll.
보조금을
So,
왜냐하면
with the focus on that convenience, the government provided as a subsidy to service providers. In the initial stage of the introduction of the service, there were a lot of controversies.
DSRC 방식이 지금
The DHR method was finally adopted, and now we are transitioning to WAVE. The CITS terminal should be attached to your vehicle. Then what kind of types should be used? I talked about my suggestion.
여러분의 이 개인정보 보호는 다 하죠. 그러나
Of course, this new system protects your personal information, but it records everything about how you move on the road, and it can be watched by authorities. And what's the benefit of using the CITS terminal? The first benefit is the safety. With that, you can protect yourself. So once you have a drowsy driving, then the system alerts you so that you can prevent any road accident or the traffic congestion. The CITS can give you the precise information of the road situation, traffic situation.
여러분들에게 자극을 못 주고 있어요, 지금.
But in reality, the CITS platform does not give the enough information, good information, as much as the high-pass system's benefit.
가능하다라는 또 다른 자극을 저희들이 제시했는데
So we have provided another
그래서 지금
benefits of the CITS to people. So we are considering how to promote the CITS platform. How can encourage people to buy the CITS terminal? Or when OEM produce the vehicles, they should be able to consider the attachment of CITS before or after market. So what would be the motivation for the OEM car manufacturing industry to attach the CITS platform to the vehicles? So in that vein, we are considering the carbon emission-free service. So a lot of different business ideas are being considered by us. So if you have any good idea or a better idea than I have introduced just a while ago, so share it with us. You can suggest to the government authorities, or you can create your own business. So these people are preparing for the new era of CATS mobility service. So you can contribute to these efforts. So we are hoping to have the CIS platform to be attached to 20,000 vehicles. If you have any question regarding this, please ask to us or the presenters, or send us any idea that we can share it with the relevant government authorities. Thank you very much. Please give the three presenters a big round of applause. Thank you for your listening.